I think recently he's listed his house for like $10 million.
I love him.
I know.
I do.
I aspire to be him one day.
I think he may get there. Welcome back to This Is Actually Real Estate, where we sit down to share stories and hard-learned lessons from working in real estate, all from experiences you just can't make up. Welcome back to This Is Actually Real Estate. I'm your host, Samantha Zanayed, and I'm joined by my co-host and good friend, David.
Thank you. Hi, I'm David Bushauer. I'm your co-host. We just came back from subsequent trips.
We did. Yeah, we both have really good taste in travel.
Apparently, because we both went to Austin, Texas. Granted, not at the same time.
And not in the same places exactly.
Not quite, right.
But pretty much very close.
Very close. So she had went to Austin the week before I did.
Yep.
And then I had went down to Austin for a little conference called South by Southwest. And that was fantastic. So today, we wanted to talk a little bit about our travels to Austin, what we thought about the town, because it was my first time. Was it your first time?
It was. It was my first time in Texas.
Oh, in Texas?
Yeah.
As a whole?
Have you been to Texas?
I have.
Really?
I have been to Texas. I've been to Dallas, because the company I used to work for was based out of Dallas. And so I was there in 2021. And then I might have driven through. I think that was my only time down in Texas. Was in Dallas, because I haven't been to Houston or any of the other big cities. But
how did Dallas compare to Austin?
Well, the thing is, like, the people that I was talking to in Austin, they say, yes, we're in Texas, but Austin is not Texas.
I've heard that a lot from many people.
Yeah. So, although the Austin or the Houston, no, where am I trying to say? Dallas.
Where'd you go?
The Dallas dining was awesome. You know, like the steakhouses and everything that they had. But I mean, Austin was kind of more the trendier stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so I think I told you, in the morning before I left, I was like, I had pesto and I had blah, 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 some green stuff on my sandwich.
Oh, which was David's not into green stuff.
It was a big step for me.
No, I'm proud of you.
So,
you're so hip.
But let's start with you. So you were down in Austin with some friends.
Yeah.
And you guys stayed right downtown, huh?
Yes. We were right by 6th Street.
Right by Dirty Sixth.
Yeah, because we're Dirty Six. There were 6 of us.
But you had a nice condo, you said?
Yeah, so we ended up going down. So we do a girls trip every year or so. Mm-hmm. Almost every year. And it kind of just worked out. I had wanted it originally to have my bachelorette party in Austin, and it didn't work out. Austin, as we've kind of touched on, is growing and booming, and it was just kind of expensive and hard to plan because nobody's from there or knows much about it. So I had said, like, oh, I hope we can go soon. And then my friend's boss has a condo in Austin, like the heart of Austin. And
that's how you do it.
I know. And he kind of offered it. And she was like, I was like, you got to lean into this. So she did, and it worked out. So we all were able to travel down there, no problem. I mean, we got tickets during Black Friday from Southwest. So it was like a really crazy cheap trip.
Wow.
And then all the portions, I don't know if it's like, I know Austin's not the true like Texas, quote unquote, but the portions were still pretty generous.
For food.
Yeah. So we were able to split almost every entree we got.
Oh, wow.
So it ended up being a really affordable trip for us.
See, we had this one place, I think it was, I don't know if it was Wax Myrtles or wherever we went, but like it was kind of like, oh, try these dips. So we ordered 2 different dips, and then it came out with a specific amount of bread pieces.
Oh,
so then we had to get another one of each dip.
Okay.
Because we were like, oh, I want to try the other one. So that portion wasn't good, but like my burger was. Because I got the burger, and then I was like, oh, I'll order a side of fries too, because fries and a burger. The burger was humongous, and it was fantastic. So shout out to that burger joint. But yeah, so you were staying right downtown. Were you in a newer? Because I want to tie it to real estate, right?
Yeah, so we were in newer construction. Like, it was like a brand new condo. It was so crazy luxurious. I mean, we're from Chicago, which I think we've established, but like they can only compare it to the Hoxton. If you've been to the West Loop or Fulton Market area, the Hoxton's a big hotel chain that's like very luxurious. It's from Europe, but it's expanded over in Europe. Yes. Can't even say it like that.
Europe. Oh, all right.
So anyway, it's just like, I don't know, it's like very state-of-the-art design, and it's just beautiful. I mean, I can't really wrap my mind around it because I don't stay at places like that. Yeah. So it was beautiful. There was a lot of pets. It was very pet-friendly.
Yeah.
It gave off, honestly, a very Chicago vibe. Which I don't know if I'm just saying that because I take Chicago with me ever, but I felt like a lot of like, I don't know, Chicago vibe like in that area that did have like some Texas-ness to it.
Yes.
But I don't know. I can definitely see why people say Austin isn't like the rest of Texas.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's very urban. It's very up and coming. There was a ton of construction where we were staying.
It was surprisingly green too. Like it wasn't dusty.
We haven't gotten to the summer though.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, but either way. So what I noticed about Texas, or at least Austin, obviously they have the safe haven. So like there's a very prevalent homeless population, but everything is new. Like all the buildings down there there was probably like 12 or 13 different high rises being built as I was there.
Yeah, we can almost like tie in that word from last week, gentrification.
Gentrification. It's being gentrified.
It really is. Because I noticed a lot. It was kind of, I don't know, it kind of pulled at my heartstrings a little bit because I noticed a lot of properties that you could tell had been there for a while that were like sandwiched in between these like stunning hotel complexes and stuff. And it's like, ugh, like it's clear that they've just been bought up or they're about to get bought up. And it's like, the landscape's changing. I mean, it's interesting. I don't know if you noticed, Austin itself is small, like the very urban area. So if you walk like 10 minutes in any direction, you're out of that urban area and into more of like what it's actually like being a resident there.
Yeah.
We did that for tacos and it was just like a night and day difference. Like, when you get into the actual neighborhoods and the people that are from the area.
And I went out with some locals one night and they took me out into like central Austin, which is like, just neighborhoods, not really the downtown feel. And it was like, you could see that, like the actual kind of Austin. And then some of them were from Kyle, Texas, which is like 30 minutes. It's like where I live, Lamont.
Okay.
It's like 30 minutes from the city and easy to get there. And a lot of people are moving there as well. To get out of Austin.
Well, they kind of have to. Yeah. Because Austin's changing so fast. And also, like, on 6th Street, did you notice how there were some bars that had clearly been there for, like, a while?
Right.
And they were also sandwiched in between these, like, new, fancy, almost, like, nightclubby bars. And it was, like, just an interesting vibe. And, like, I don't know, it's growing so quickly. It reminds me a lot of, like, Chicago at the speed of which it's growing and, like, in the way that it's kind of going towards. But it's also got this very big, prevalent college vibe.
Yeah, well, they got the Texas A&M or no, what is it? UT? University of Texas.
I don't know, but I know there's a college right there.
Yeah, that's the University of Texas. And they, so they have that. Did you happen to go down to Rainey Street?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Rainey Street is cool. If you guys have not been to Austin, Texas, Rainey Street, imagine just a bunch of little older houses, not like stone, like wood paneling on the outside, very small houses, like in some of the older parts of Chicago. And, but they're all turned into bars. So it's like you're in a house, but it's a bar, And
it's usually built out in the back too. Like we went into a couple of the bars and like they had a huge, pretty like garden area.
So the thing is, those used to be houses. Those used to be residential buildings, or houses. And, they weren't selling or something happened where they weren't selling and so forth. So they rezoned it and made it commercial. And so a bunch of bars, they turned them into bars, which I thought was fascinating. And it's so unique.
I think that'd be kind of hard to pull off. Like I'm very interested in that story.
Yeah.
Because getting zoned for commercial, I'm not an expert on that process.
I wonder if the city was...
I'm sure the city was like, we got to figure this out.
Yeah, because they're not, otherwise they're going to be towed out or whatever. And I wonder if it was a historical society thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I did hear that there is one local. There's one guy who still lives in one of the houses down there.
Oh.
And he has been holding out.
I love that. I feel like that would be you.
Yeah, so like they've offered him like $1.2 million. It would be me. You're right.
In Lamont.
Yeah.
That will be you, I should say.
In 40 years.
Yeah, I'm not moving.
I'm not moving
no
from my
amount
condo.
of money will make me and Georgie leave.
Yeah, right? You can tear down the other units next to me, but me, I'm staying.
I'm staying.
But they offered him like 1.2 million, 1.3 million or whatever, and still this guy is holding out. So I think recently he's listed his house for like $10 million.
I love him.
I know.
I do.
I aspire to be him one day.
I think he may get there.
Yeah.
I think he may. May not be 10. Maybe 9.
Maybe 9.
But
maybe 9. Maybe, but like if you list at 10, maybe he gets an offer for 5, Like
I mean, you never
3. I don't know.
Well, like we said, Austin is it's kind of crazy. They're saying it's the new Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
And I was reading this week that a lot of businesses are looking to move out of California because of the weather. I mean, it's just been a ton of devastation going on there. It's been many years, but I know Northern California's really gotten hit hard. And I just like with the economy and the way everything's kind of shifting, they're going to be moving out of California into other places. And Austin is kind of one of those top places.
It is. I mean, Google's in Austin. There's the Google building there. They have actually realtor.com is in Austin. Did you see that?
Oh, I did not.
There's the building with I
No.
took a picture of it. So a lot of tech, and they're building all these new buildings for residential, for business and corporate. So it'll be interesting to see when I go back. But I do want to switch gears into like my time.
Yeah, let's talk about your experience.
And
Can you give us like the Reader's Digest version of what the conference is? Because maybe not everyone's like me. And I know you said, and a couple people have said you should really know what this conference is, but I just don't really get the conference. Like I'm very familiar with like Lollapalooza, but it's more than that.
Yeah, well, okay.
It's more than just like music.
So South by Southwest, everyone always thinks of the music aspect of it, and that is an overwhelming part of the conference, but it's really the creative industries. So, I mean, and you've got tech in there, you've got film and TV. That's a big badge to have.
Yeah. I know you were listing actors. Yeah. And like that was very cool.
Yeah. Marketing that's for myself. That's why I was going for marketing for the creative industries as well. As well as, I mean, comedy, all these different parts of the creative industries come together. So I didn't get to meet her, but I did get to hear Tilda Swinton speak.
That's so cool.
So,
and you saw Chris Pine.
Yeah. Chris Pine was there. Well, Tilda premiered her movie. There were some other premieres.
What's her movie?
Problemista. And so that was interesting. She talked about her movie a bit, about her career and how she approaches acting. She's like, I'm not an actor, I don't like that word, I'm a performer. I'm like, that's exactly what an actor would say.
It's like, wow, you sound very creative.
Yeah, right. She's like, I love collaborative work, or a collective, to work as a collective. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Thanks, Tilda. And but Mark Cuban is there, right, doing a session, or you had Nick Jonas there doing a session on diabetes. Yeah,
Nick Jonas has diabetes?
Yeah, that's famously.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew about him and Priyanka, but I did not know about him and diabetes.
Priyanka was there too. She was speaking.
Stop! About the diabetes?
Not about the diabetes.
What was she talking
that was more
about?
his thing. I don't know. I didn't go to her session. But,
okay, wow.
I think there's a lot about climate change. So,
I mean, have you heard about the turbulence that's happening on the planes? Because it's everywhere. Everywhere I look now, there's articles about turbulent plane rides, and people in the comment section are saying it's because of climate change.
Because Priyanka?
Not because, she's pretty powerful too. But they're saying it's because of the climate change. Like, it's affecting we had no snow here this year.
Yeah.
Nothing. And California's, LA got snow.
Yeah.
I feel like we should probably start being concerned.
All of last year.
Yeah, it's not getting cute.
Yeah. So the conference...
Moving on from that, we can't help with that.
Yeah. Well, so there was a lot about climate change there. And then some of the sessions I went to were fascinating. So there's this one session held by Reddit. So the social media director of Reddit and some other people. They talked about creating movements versus just hopping on trends when you're looking at social media, right? Because it's so tempting to hop on a trend or do what's popular right then and there, but it's so
because it's really hard to be creative, genuinely creative. But what's funny
surface level, it doesn't build your brand.
No, it doesn't. I feel like everybody wants so badly to be a part of social media, whether that be TikTok or whatever, that they'll do whatever is kind of trendy to get them to be trendy. But it doesn't. It just kind of creates a bunch of that's not what makes you popular or trendy.
Right. And it doesn't build your brand with your, or it's hard to connect with an audience there because then it's so broad. Everyone's doing it. And how do you relate that back to your brand? It's really hard to. And Reddit was really interesting just because Reddit predates Facebook. So
Reddit is just like such a like I think of like a classic actor, like one that's just like like
it's always there.
Leonardo DiCaprio. Like you're just like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, Reddit.
But like Reddit has like the upvote, downvote system, and it's very self-governed. Was that
who
introduced?
owns that?
I don't know who owns it.
But it's been around forever. Yeah, okay.
They were independent. I don't know who they were bought by, but either way, that was unique. Where it's like the moderators. They have the moderators, and you see this, kind of bleed into other platforms like Facebook. Remember when you couldn't thumbs down something on Facebook? You could only like things. Then they introduced love and care and thumbs down, And Reddit was really the one to start that and do the ranking system where you had the ranked.
I have noticed that out of all the social media platforms, I feel like Facebook always follows suit to whatever is popular. Like Instagram or whatever came with the Reels.
Yeah.
Then Facebook had it. I don't think Instagram was necessarily first with the
TikTok.
Reels. It was TikTok and then Instagram. And at that point, did Meta own Instagram and Facebook, and they both adopted
it in
the Reels?
2012 or 13 or something
for like $1 billion. That long ago.
Yeah.
I thought it was recent that they both merged. Stop. That's crazy.
Yeah. So, because like Facebook owned it at the time, then Meta was created and Meta owns it. But so Reddit, what was I going to say? Reddit was interesting just about everything that they've been doing. Because like the next thing that I got out of that session was, so like these broad trends and everything, it's hard to, find your tribe. And I think we've found our tribe with this podcast.
Yeah.
Because it is real estate agents or people who want to get into real estate. And we welcome anyone who is, just a regular consumer who finds us interesting. But
because a lot of regular consumers are so interested in real estate because it's a great way to grow your wealth. Like you can become an investor.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many ways of investing too.
Yeah. So people who are interested in real estate, that's kind of like our tribe. And it goes more further niche. But like the thing they were saying is like being niche is not a bad thing. Being niche is somewhere that people can belong. Right? Like you have the furries or you have, all the comic people. It's like it creates a sense of belonging. And that's what you have to create online. Right? Because like Reddit, for example, they have all these small communities of, they have the asshole one, but then they also have like, they have a Reddit thread dedicated, it's all these fitness guys, and it's dedicated to reminding each other to drink water throughout the day. And that's just the thread. It's like, did you drink your water
caring.
today?
I love that so much.
And, or finance guys, whatever it is, or gals.
I do feel like Reddit really gets down to like nitty gritty, like groups. Like it's like, I don't know, but they have such a loyal like group of people.
Yeah. And people who are on Reddit. They use it, And
I also feel like Reddit really appeals to people who aren't into social media.
Yeah.
Like people who are like not about
because it's not about where
it's really not.
It's not where you're jet setting to. It's not about looking your best.
Yeah.
It's literally sharing ideas.
It's building a community.
And building a community around those ideas, yeah. And Pinterest, which I listened to some talks by some people at Pinterest this past week. Pinterest is kind of that way too. I mean, they're not showing off yourself as much, maybe showing off your interests, but you can create, it's the human-centric approach, And that's what I was like, it's perfect. Even working with like the airport, like I met with a client down there, which was the airport, the Austin Bergstrom International Airport. And they're really focused on that human-centric design. People will...
What is like a human-centric design?
So in that case, like human-centric would be people will always find food. If they're hungry, they will always find food. So you can tuck a restaurant back somewhere, but they're not going to seek out like a luggage shop or like a beauty shop or something in the airport. So you got to put those things right in front of them where food you can tuck into the back.
I have noticed that. They do really, because when we went through that airport and it was all like the random like fancy perfumes. Like, right when you walk in. I'm like,
right. People will always find food. So that's an example of human-centric design.
Interesting.
Yeah. Even though it's kind of trying to manipulate the humans, but either way.
It is absolutely manipulating humans.
But
whatever.
So let's see. What else did I go to? I went to, there was a lot of like the AI stuff.
Okay.
And which we're going to talk about in a subsequent episode.
I cannot wait to talk about AI.
You and me both.
I am
Sam.
so excited about the future with AI.
Me
I know
too.
a lot of people are like super spooked
Yeah.
and nervous,
But-
but I feel like it's going to be amazing.
It is. Just talk to us. We'll
calm you down.
calm you down. But yeah, so there's a lot about the AI, the deep fakes.
The deepfakes is dark.
The deep fakes is dark. I don't know if I should talk about it.
We can I think we should briefly gloss over it so people are aware of it because I actually think it's like really going to be something people should know about.
Maybe we'll talk about it in the AI episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then you got your little teaser.
I got my teaser in. Yay.
Next.
What else? There was also the Creative Industries Expo. So it's all these different companies. That's where I ran into the people from TikTok or the people from Shure microphones. And we got to chat about their product, of course, but then also about podcasting or about whatever. It's all these people. And that it just reminded me that I'm like, these people are like passionate about their craft, about what they're doing. They're not just working for a company. It's like, these are the people that go, they can preach the good word of their company. And there's some fascinating thing. They're doing some fascinating things with like holograms, right? They had like 3D holograms that were like 2 stories tall, and like Mark Cuban was talking, and like,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, or like a bottle spinning, or like you can design your own car, like,
wow.
in hologram form, or, just, and all these little, even small companies doing stuff for like musical artists, like put your thing on this, I don't know, it was a weird product. I put a song on there, and, you just hold it to your phone and it downloads it onto your phone. So people can buy this little thing because no one has CD players anymore in their cars.
I do.
You do.
And I rely
New
on
cars,
it because my car won't let me play my phone anymore. I got the new iPhone and I cannot play music. It's brutal. So I'm begging all artists to keep cranking out CDs for people like me.
Oh, there you go. You hear it from Sam first.
I need some CDs.
But I mean, and then it got into the music, like I got, or they also had different activations from brands. So like I went to Paramount Plus. They did the Paramount Plus Lodge. So
what is that?
So they took over the Clive bar, I think it was, on Rainey Street. And they basically made, because there's 3 bars in this house. And it's 3 levels.
I went to that bar.
And
we were at the same place in different times.
A week apart. And so they had, the activation was like, okay, you get in, since you're with the festival, that's the only way to get in,
Okay.
So then you get free drinks, and they have the special drinks that they made just for that event. And there was just different like interactive things. So like one was you get filmed. They set up like a hallway with lockers, and you get filmed running down there for like a horror movie that they're promoting.
Oh, that's fun.
And then, so you get that sent to you. I don't know. I don't remember. But then the second floor was like, they have the show Yellow Jackets.
I've heard a lot about this.
So it's like a surveillance thing. It's with the guy from Designated Survivor, which like cool concept for a show, the Designated Survivor one, but like it just gets drawn out. Like after the first 2 episodes.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I watched the whole series.
Because of your experience in Austin?
No.
Just
before
prior
I went.
to.
But I was like, it's this guy. So you take a picture and they put you on a security badge or an ID badge or something for like clearance. And then the third floor, you'd find a vinyl record, pick one out of the bin, and then you would splatter paint it with the circle, and then you keep the vinyl. You get to keep this like art you need.
That's fun.
Which reminds me.
Ooh, what does he have in the briefcase?
I brought you back a gift.
Oh, stop.
So I went to this activation. It was an ASMR activation by Warner Music, and it's so satisfying. And so this whole thing was dedicated to ASMR. So like the walls were fuzzy or sequined or whatever. And then they also had like a pimple popper wall, which was a bit creepy. They had like eyes that looked around, but then you pop this pimple, you get a stress ball that you keep. But they also handed out this, and I know Sam will love it.
Does it have to do with pimples?
So
that was nice.
This is a watercolor coloring book.
Oh my gosh.
So what you do, and it might be self-explanatory, and this is from Warner Music.
Wow.
So this coloring book, you fill up this little pen with water.
Oh my gosh, this is very
and
cool.
then it's It has like the different pages.
I'm going to bring this to my work. And then when I'm stressed, I'm just going to color.
I know. I figured. And
Water
so
paint.
Sam is our little artist. Here you got some instructions as well.
Oh, this is so
But
sweet.
this is my little gift to you from Austin.
Thank you. I wish I'd gotten you something, but I didn't get Tony something either.
Yeah, that's all right.
Next time.
I got this. I was like, I got it. I was like, you know who would love this?
That's
Samantha.
so nice. Look at my amazing watercolor book. I'm excited.
So it was
Cute.
cool.
And it's so satisfying.
Yeah, it is. It was.
Did you get one too?
No.
We'll have to. No.
I did.
Just
And then I was
for
like,
you.
you know what? I could give it to Sam. So I did.
That's sweet.
I got enough to read stuff from the conference. So the conference was great.
Okay.
In recap.
Okay.
And I wanted to go next year. And I get a discount if I get it before March 31st. So
I think you should go next year.
I think I should. I think I might be a South by Southwester.
I think you are. Are there any performers that you saw live that you didn't think you'd love and you fell in love with? Did you see any of the big performers, or were you busy? Like
Macklemore was announced right when I was leaving
Oh.
for Friday.
Oh, no.
I'm not a Macklemore fan though.
I like a couple of his songs. I like him as I feel like I get good energy from him as a person.
There was we went to Columbia College did a AMP record label. We have a record label at Columbia College.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's like the
Wow.
oldest student-run record label.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. And so they had some of their artists, Columbia artists. And it's not just like students from Columbia that are signed to this record label. It's like people from the city of Chicago or wherever. And but the students run it. So they had a showcase down there
Wow.
at a Mexican restaurant, which was interesting.
Was it a Mexican restaurant that was like a club?
Yeah, Vaquero Taquero.
Yes. Was it across the street from a bunch of food stands on 6th Street?
Yeah, it was right off of 6th Street. It's 6th Street and Sabine on the river.
We went there. So we got off the plane, checked in at the condo, and then we were starving. Well, put our stuff down. Whatever. Checked in at our hotel/condo. And we were starving, so we went to go to where they say all these food trucks are, and it was all closed. And it was Friday at noon, and I was like, wouldn't you think business people would be hungry and out for lunch? And everywhere was closed.
Well,
everywhere.
You said they were gearing up for South by.
They were, and I just think it's one of those places where it's yes, it's becoming very urban and very populated, but it's not quite there yet. Because if you were in Chicago, anything would be open. People are always eating, especially if you're a business person.
Right.
So I was blown away that we could not find food except for at this Mexican place that was kind of bizarre in the sense that it was clearly a part, it was a club. Too.
Yeah.
So we went there for tacos and it was good.
Yeah. They were all right. Yeah. We got free tacos because we were with Columbia.
Look at you. You got so much fun stuff for being at this festival.
Yeah. I mean, we spent enough to go down there.
Yeah, that's true.
I spent so much money aside from my ticket flight, my hotel, and the badge. Still spent a lot of money. So you can spend a lot of money in Austin. So watch out. At least not South by Southwest. But I would definitely go again. I might be a South by somewhere. And
I love that.
And there was a band that I liked, Joe James. They were all right. They were cool. I left them a tip. I'm for the service of a tune. And, I left them
And then what are some big takeaways you got coming out of this, from marketing perspective that's going to be happening in the near future with marketing?
Oh my God. So I could tell that the programming for the festival was, it was done in the fall because there was a lot about AI. You remember how AI was just everyone was talking about it the end of the year.
You told me about it. I did not hear anything about AI except from you. And now I'm starting to see it everywhere, but I can't tell if it's the algorithm because I talked to you and now my phone. You know what I mean? Yes. But I've been hearing more about it, but I did not know that there was a ChatGPT 4. First of all, I didn't know we were on the 4th version.
Yes.
We're on the 4th version.
We're on the 4th version.
And then what was that cool one you showed me where we got the fun pictures of Georgie?
Dolly. That's also by the same company, OpenAI.
So without you, I would know nothing about AI world and how it's changing everything.
Well, at least within the marketing and tech communities,
okay.
It's been
talked about, but it's more of a fall.
6 months.
Okay.
So
when was this all released, or when did AI kind of hit the scene? Last year, October, November.
AI. You look at deep fakes. Those have been going since 2016, 2017. It's kind
deep fakes have been going since no way.
Yeah.
I haven't heard any. I heard about deepfakes like the past few months, where like it's been an issue for influencers.
Okay.
But like deepfakes have been like hurting people who are like regular people like me and you.
Yeah. Yeah, and we will talk about that next week
Okay,
on
you
our
still
episode.
have to tell me one more thing. Give me one more thing before.
One more thing. I guess this is more of a logistics thing. I'll give you two more things maybe. This is like the logistics thing. I'm like, I need to plan it a little bit better because they were telling me beforehand, they're like, don't plan as much, just like, because don't try to fill every single waking moment with a session because there's going to be stuff you want to do on a whim. And, I'm glad I got this experience of like, I know what it kind of generally now what it's about, like what it's like being there. So I can plan better or maybe not. Yeah, plan better next time.
Yeah.
A big shift. Is that AI, is that creating conscientious brands or world conscious or human conscious brands in the sense of like, hey, giving back. You're not just trying to sell a product. You're trying to, it's just the emphasis on branding.
Like we're beyond just wanting to make money off of you.
Right.
We also want to try to make this crazy world a better place.
Yes, because if you have that, because then you can get those diehard fans that will get on their knees and reach around other products to grab yours.
Yeah.
So that was a huge thing. Just meeting people where they're at. So, and then there's some stuff for the podcast, which I can't wait to,
cool.
enact. But either way, that is our recap of our respective Austin trips. And we will be here next week talking about, what are we talking about, Sam?
AI. Starting with deepfakes. We have a lot to break down here.
We'll get back onto the real estate, kind of bring it back to real estate. But we hope that you enjoyed this episode. And we can't wait to see you next week. Bye.
Bye.